This is Andy at Hedge WoodWorks. If you're working with live edge walnut, you're going to run into a piece that's got the bark on it. If it hasn't been kiln dried, you can probably get it off before you dry it. But if it has been kiln dried with the bark on it, it's going to be a tough item to remove. So I'm building this table, as you can see, and this is a laminated top with the bark on the outside pieces and a beautiful live edge underneath it. And in trying to get that bark off, I came up with a couple ways that perhaps might be useful to you. One of the things you might want to try is a draw knife if you have one. I don't have one, and I was intending to go buy one, but I didn't. And so I came up with this wonderful kitchen knife. This happens to be a commercial kitchen knife. It's made by Swibo, so it's European of some kind. It's quite sharp indeed, but I'm using it as a draw knife. So I'm going to show you how I get the bark off of this table. I've left the bark on this side, and I'll show you what it looks like once the bark is off on the other side. So here we go. So what you want to do is you want to be patient with it. That's the most important thing. You want to take off not an awful lot at a time, and you don't want to get too close to that sapwood. You want to remove all of this brown bark and remove that and expose that beautiful edge underneath it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off a big piece of it at a time. So you can see at first it comes off in big pieces just like that. Now you may find it easier to work with the wood on edge. I happen to have this on some horses already, and I don't have any brackets to hold it on edge. But you want to keep tabs of how much you're cutting underneath it as well as on top. This live edge is rarely square to the actual surface of the table. So just keep an eye as to how much you're removing on top as well as underneath. So you're not cutting into the wood and ruining the live edge. And take off chunks like that. Be patient with it. That's probably a little impatient, but regardless, keep going. You can do a couple of things with the knife as you get lower down. One thing you can do is you can bend the knife to make yourself a nice gouge like that, as you can see. And of course you can use it as a straight edge and get fairly close to that sapwood on the edge of the plank. So here it comes. Now, as you can see, I'm getting down pretty close to the wood, so I'm going to have to be doubly careful. Go along the whole length of it till you get it all off. As I said before, the first part of it is pretty easy. It's just brute force and ignorance. And you want to increase the care you take with removing it as you get deeper and deeper into the bark. You might ask yourself the question, do you want to remove the bark in building a table? And the answer is certainly yes. This is how soft the bark is. You don't want a dining table with these kinds of indentations to catch food and the inevitable spills and so on. And it'll fall off, it'll create a lot of dust in your dining room. So that's not what you want. What you want is you want that nice live edge. You want to make sure you see it, but you don't want the softness of the bark. Or as you get deeper down and you try to finish that might look like snakeskin, and it's not particularly attractive either, in my view at least. So that's how you might try to remove the bark. Another tool you might want to use is a spoke shave. Just as you get further down, this will take just a little bit off with the right settings, and you want to go very slowly, do a combination of the knife and perhaps the spoke shave. And to end this video, I'm going to show you what I've managed to do in about an hour on the other side. And so this is how it'll look like once you're done, and at least with the knife, followed up by some very gentle sanding to take off just the remainder of the bark and expose that nice live edge. Alright, so here's what this looks like once you're done with the knife. As you can see, it's pretty smooth. This will take stain a little differently than the heartwood and the sapwood, and you might want to trust me on this. It will look beautiful once you're done. So it's a fairly smooth finish. I'm down pretty deep. You can see that I can see some of the live edge through there. I'll want to sand it very gently to get the rest of this bark off. In fact, if I curve the knife, as I told you before, you can probably get some of it off if you've got patience. So just be patient with this job, and you'll get all of that off, and you'll have a beautifully finished live edge piece of wood. That's all for Hedge WoodWorks. It's Andy. See you next time.